Motherhood is hard.
And sometimes we just need
A
time out.
Welcome to our first episode of Mom's Timeout.
We are so excited to finally put this little project into work.
Yeah, it's been like a month since we've been planning this. I don't know if you can tell, but a little spontaneous.
It is spontaneous, but I think we are in a unique place and this can be relatable to a lot of young moms. So we're so excited to be doing this and hopefully you all like it too.
Let's start off with some quick facts about us.
Okay. Joy, tell us where you live, your age, and how many kids you got.
Let's see. Okay, my name is Joy Tan. I'm 23 and I have one boy. 3 terrible threes.
My name is Natalia Fernandez, and I am also 23. And just like Joy, I have one son. He is 15 months though, so Joy has a little bit more experience in the motherhood field than I do.
Not really. No. Okay, so we're gonna start off with how we became the Mom's Timeout. It started on a Tuesday and it kind of just happened.
That just happened. Honestly, we are both kind of in like this unique situation where we're both young in our early 20s. We're supposed to be in our 20s and thriving era, and we
Which we are.
Which we are.
We are.
But
in a different way.
In a different way, right? But we are just trying to navigate motherhood while also trying to be our young authentic selves as well. So we need a way to express ourselves.
Yes.
For sure.
And this is it.
And this is it.
Okay, another reason why we are starting this is to find other young moms out there who can relate to us, because we're the only ones in Boston that we know of.
Mm-hmm. And our other friend Stacy.
Yeah, our other friend Stacy. Shout out to Stacy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so we kind of just like pitched this idea between us and now we're here. So, Joy, tell us how, or Joy, tell Joy, tell the public how we both met.
We met. Sorry, our mother needs a pause for a second. Nathalia will start first.
Okay, so it's honestly so funny how we met. Okay. Hello.
I'm back. Oh. I'm back.
Okay, so we'll quickly tell you guys how we met. From my perspective and from Joy's, I received a notification on TikTok saying that somebody had commented, "Oh, you're a mom and you're 22 and you're also in Boston." And I quickly stalked her. And I was like, "Wait, oh my gosh, is this God answering my prayers?" Because I had been feeling so lonely. We had moved in September, and around this time it was November, and I hadn't met anybody else around my age that was a first time mom and was trying to navigate how crazy life was. Everybody that I knew, especially in the South Shore here in Boston, where I'm from, everybody's like in their 40s or 30s and are already like on their last kid. So everybody in swim practice was like, this is like their fourth child, and I'm over here trying to like put my son underneath the water and I'm scared. So yeah, and quickly just she slid in my DMs and we just kind of hit it off. We hung out and yeah, we're here. So Joy, what's your perspective on it?
My POV was that I was just scrolling on TikTok, probably supposed to be doing laundry, but you know how it is. And I was scrolling and this beautiful girl popped on my For You page, and I like looked at the hashtags, which I don't do, but I did on that video. And it said like hashtag mom, hashtag Boston. I was like, huh, that's weird. This never pops up on my For You page. So I went to her profile, and on her bio, it said 22, boy, mom, wife, and then like fashion. And I'm like the 22-year-old, not 22-year-old, the 22 really like stood out to me because I'm like, I'm 22. Like, no way is there another boy mom in Boston who's 22. Like, I've been living here like a year, which isn't, I know, a long time, but coming from Singapore, that's where I like grew up. There's not a lot of young moms in Singapore because everyone's just focused on getting out their education and not having kids until like 30 or something. Like,
Which there's nothing wrong with
there's
that.
nothing wrong, but
like my perspective when she slid in my DMs, it was like, oh my gosh, finally. Because in Utah, and I've told Joy this, Utah, everybody's like 19, already on their second or already on their first child, pregnant with their second, and they were married at 18. Whereas like where I was kind of late to the game. So when I moved to Boston, it was kind of a culture shock that everybody was older, married, and already established. But Utah, like I was the older one.
yeah.
So it was great to meet somebody else
Yeah.
in that same boat.
And yeah, that's why I was like shocked because I was like here for a year and moving from Singapore to Boston, I was expecting to be a lot of young moms. Just like, because you hear over the internet, like, I don't know, I just always thought people in the States had kids young. But I guess not here in.
We gotta move to Utah.
Yeah, not here in Boston. And I saw Nathalia and I was like, I was nervous. 1 second. We're back.
Motherhood calls.
Yes. Anyways, yeah, I just commented and I was nervous because she was an influencer. I am not.
Very micro influencer.
But still, I was like,
but I'm trying.
She's so cool. Anyways, and now we're friends.
And now we're here.
Hot mamas.
Hot moms unite. So like we've kind of let me word this better. We've kind of already set the stage. We're both young moms. We've been in this little life journey for, a good amount. Joy, how did you find out that you were expecting your son?
Well, loaded question. Just kidding. I was a senior in high school this February. And I had just turned something, I can't remember. And I had been drinking a lot. This is kind of like not really important, but you know what I mean, like pregnant, like I didn't know at the time, but
Ooh,
I just
she's
had
a rebel.
Oh, in Singapore you can drink at 18, so that's important. I'm not underage drinking in Singapore.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
We're not
And
breaking any laws.
yeah, so around that time, my birthday, my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, was like, I think you're pregnant. Like, you should take a test. And I'm like, I don't think I'm pregnant. Like, I'm not pregnant.
He just knew for some reason.
Yeah, and it was so random, too. Like, kind of like, I think you're pregnant. And I'm like, okay. Like, okay. I just on my birthday, really?
Yeah.
And then, like, several days later, we were at home, or I was at home, and my mom was like, are you feeling okay? Like, really concerned. Like, so random, And I'm like, yes, I'm okay. Like, did Kyle talk to you? Like, why are you being so weird? And she's like, do you think you're pregnant? I'm like, no, I'm fine.
Like, am I
do I look weird? Like,
were you showing any signs?
no. Well, like I did have a lot of anxiety in high school, and so I would sometimes like gag or whatever. I don't, how it is. And so I thought it was that. Like I've been doing that So maybe it was just a little more and they caught on to that.
Mm.
But to me, I'm just anxious sometimes, you know?
She's an anxious queen.
Anyway, so my mom was like, I think you should take a pregnancy test. I'm like, I don't need to. I'm not pregnant. And so she's like, I'm just going to get one just in case, and you can take it when you feel like it. I'm like, okay, just so you and Kyle be quiet.
It's just
I'll
so I can
take
prove you
it.
guys wrong.
Yeah, just so I can prove you
She's
guys
gonna
wrong.
prove them wrong, guys.
I'm gonna take this test. So it's a Monday morning, a school day, and my mom told me beforehand, the night before, that I should take it right as I wake up, like my first pee in the morning. I don't know why, but
I've heard that too.
I guess that's a thing. And so I was like, okay, like cool. I'll just take it when I usually wake up, which is usually like 6, I guess. But my body woke up at 4 a.m. And I'm like,
Signs of pregnancy.
okay. And so I'm like, I'm gonna wake up my mom because I don't want to take this by myself, you know. So I woke up my mom. We went to my parents' bathroom, and I take it, like I pee on the little stick, you know. And my mom was like, it's gonna take like 5 minutes for it to like show. And I took it, and it did not take 5 minutes. It took like 5 seconds, and it was like, you are pregnant.
Wow.
Lovely, yes, lovely. And my mom and I both looked at each other, kind of like my mom's eyes was like I don't know how big. She
was like,
yeah. And yeah, I was like, I'm gonna call Kyle, my boyfriend at the time. I already said that, but yeah, my husband now. And she's like, and she goes back to bed. And then I call my boyfriend, and he was really quiet. And I was like,
just like crickets on the other line. It's like, hello, is this thing on?
are you there? Did you fall
Please
asleep?
answer. I know it's 4 a.m., but
yeah, it is 4 a.m. And then he's like, it's okay. We're going to be okay. Like, we'll go to the doctor after school. And I'm like, great. So I had to go to school, and I had basketball practice. And I usually never have, like, I've never missed a practice ever. And so when I told my coach after school, I was like, and we're back.
You had to tell your coach that you missed practice, and it was so unlike you.
Yes, it was very unlike me. And she's like, well, why? And she's like, I was like, I don't know, I just have an appointment. Like, I don't know. And so she was like, why don't you just schedule it earlier or whatever, a different day? And I was like, I don't know, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Bye. I'm
She's
really
like,
sorry.
why is she
I'm
questioning?
really sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, we took the blood test, and it was positive, and I did not believe it at all. But obviously,
here
I have a kid.
He's here. And wow. No.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that must have been like so shocking in the moment, right? You were probably like, what am I doing? Because it's like your senior year too. Or what were your thoughts like during that time?
Honestly, life was a blur then in my lifetime. Like, I disassociated from a lot of things. So at that time, I didn't really feel my emotions. So I was kind of like, okay, like just another thing, except this is like a huge thing. And honestly, I'm kind of thankful that at the time I was not feeling a lot of feelings then, because I think I would be even more stressed and anxious and freak out a lot more. But I handled it
Like
pretty well. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be a mom. And that was that.
Yeah, because I feel like when you find these things out, you can't run away. Like, you can't be like, oh no, not today, maybe tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you have to figure out a solution, figure out like how you're going to get through this. For me,
Yeah, tell us about you.
For me, it was
Juicy.
very similar situations. I was finishing up, let's say, like my last year of college, though. I had just turned 21, um, and my boyfriend and I had broken up, let's say, like Sunday. By Friday, I was testing positive. And it was crazy. My boyfriend Lance, now my husband, life was just taking us two different ways. He was moving to Arizona, but he was living in Utah. I was living in Idaho finishing up school, but I was moving to Utah. So like work and jobs were just taking us two different places, and we were like, maybe like we just shouldn't be together right now. And let me tell you, my symptoms were, well, I had been losing so much weight throughout that week, but I thought it was because I was sad. I was crying. I didn't really want to eat. Um, I was sleeping all day long, and my boobs were really tender. So I just thought when I was
You know
stepping
what that means. You know what that means.
when I was stepping on the scale, I was like, dang, I'm usually like 126, but like I just lost so much weight.
Baby.
Sorry.
Please close the door then. I love you. Okay, I love you.
Where's
I
your
love
headphones?
you. I love you. Baby, please be kind. We're talking right now. Please close the door.
That was hilarious.
Is this like a sign that I'm a bad mom on my
No.
first episode?
No, not at all. Terrible threes. So yeah, so I had all these symptoms, and now I feel like I have to whisper.
No, you don't have to whisper.
Um, and so I went to a really religious college, so I had to ask my friend because she was leaving town to like the mall, which was like 30 minutes away. And they don't like ask you too many questions, so I had her buy me a pregnancy test because if we bought it in our college town, somebody would see, let's see, like your bishop would see, or like somebody that you go to church with sees, and they're gonna tattletale on you. So she bought it. She gave it to me on Wednesday, and I waited a couple days. I'm like, I don't know if I want to take it right off the bat. I took a shower Friday morning. I pee on it, leave it. I hop in the shower, and I kind of forgot about it. But then I look at the counter, and it's like, boom, boom. It's a cross. It's the lines, and it's like, you're pregnant. And I'm like, no. So I call my cousin, and she's like, you need to take another one. I take another one. There's no denying it. It was the digital one. It says
You
pregnant.
are pregnant.
You are pregnant. So I'm like kind of like basking in it, and I'm like, what do I do? So I call Lance. I text him, and we hadn't had communication throughout that week. And I'm like, hey, can you call me real quick? I need to tell you something. He must have been like, oh, she's trying to get back with me. Like, you know.
Nah, boy, nah.
No,
Well,
like, that ends up happening. But like, I don't know what his first thought must have been when I hit him up. But I FaceTime him and I just like show him. And he's like, did you take another one? Like, how many, I'm like,
did you take 10?
we end up taking a total of 6 of the pregnancy sticks, and I end up getting blood work done just to be completely sure the next day. But that same day, he drove down from Utah to Idaho, and he was just there for me. And it was really nice, but I feel like we were just two like really young kids that didn't know what we were doing, but
For sure.
we were in our 20s. I can't imagine how it must have been for you guys. It was probably really stressful. I know I was stressed. I was stressed.
I think I was a lot more stressed than I was.
Yeah. But I feel like
But yes, I was stressed.
guys carry stress really differently. Sometimes I'm like, you guys need to let it out. Like express yourselves, please.
But yeah. Um
And here we are.
Here we are, two mamas.
Yes. What else is on the list?
Please be kind. This is our first episode.
Okay. I think Lance is here.
Okay.
We just need to correctly.
So
maybe on the next episode we can talk about how our families reacted, because
yeah,
mine's a really big story. I think it's
next episode. Stay tuned for episode 2.
Stay tuned for episode 2. We'll tell you guys how our families reacted. We come from kind of religious backgrounds, so yeah, that's all tea in itself. But yeah,
Okay, love you guys.
love
Mamas.
you. Mwah.